Welcome, everybody. My name is Jim, and as I'm sure you've probably figured out by now, I'm the proud father of the bride. So, on behalf of my wife, Jean, myself, and Brian's dad, Jeff, and his stepmother, Becky, I offer you a warm welcome and thank you for joining us for Kathy and Brian's wedding. I know that some of you have traveled long distances to be with us today, and again I thank you for coming to help us celebrate this very special occasion. As I look around me, I realize how fortunate Kathy and Brian are to have so many friends, family, and extended family. And now I need to acknowledge and thank several individuals who've been a big help with today's ceremony and celebration. First and foremost, the very Honorable Phil Sinceri. A very big thank you to Phil. Isn't he amazing? He's a longtime family friend who, like he said at one time, was a Jesuit high school instructor for Kathy and her two brothers, Paul and Jimmy. And everyone that came in contact with Phil had a positive influence from Phil. Now, I know you were paying attention to Phil and not to the gal in the black bikini that surfed by when Phil was talking. Also, a big thank you to Leanne Marsh for the time and effort she put into those beautiful wedding invitations. And thank you to Margie Booley for the beautiful flower arrangements, the bouquets, and the table centerpieces. And again, thank you to my handsome little grandson CJ for escorting his grandmother down the aisle. And thank you to my beautiful granddaughter Caitlin and Brian's beautiful daughter Anna for serving as bridesmaids. And also a big thank you to Michael's sons, James and Michael, Brian's sons, James and Michael, for serving as co-best men. And by the way, James will be a graduate civil engineer next May. And Michael will be a graduate aerospace engineer the following year. Also would like to thank our talented musicians, Lisa Phoenix, Mike Sayer, and Brian's son, Michael, for the bridal music and the cocktail music. And also I'd like to thank our videographers, Karen Kelly and Richard Klein. And a big thank you to our wedding planner and energy bunny, Gigi Cox staff. And thanks to Jeff for that beautiful poem that he read at the ceremony. Today I'm the proudest father in the world, having accompanied my daughter down the aisle. Jean and I waited a long time for this day. When Jean and I started our family, We started out with two beautiful sons, Paul and Jimmy. So when Jean was expecting for a third time, I was totally convinced I was going to have another beautiful son. It never occurred to me that I could possibly have a beautiful daughter. So when the doctor called me into the delivery room, and he and Jean told me I had a beautiful baby daughter, I looked at the doctor and I said, I hope you remember to circumcise him. As Kathy was growing up as a child, I'm losing my voice. As Kathy was growing up as a child, she knew and loved every animal in the neighborhood. And occasionally, she would bring one home and ask me if she could keep it. And I'd have to convince her that the animal belonged to somebody else. So my best friend, Les Chireau, who's also a veterinarian, gave her a job at his clinic, animal clinic, as a kennel girl, which is a fancy title for pooper scooper. She loved every minute of it. She loved being around animals. So I had a sneaking suspicion that someday she was going to be a veterinarian. When Kathy was telling me about the choices of places where the wedding could be held, and she mentioned beach, I thought to myself, oh my God, I hope she doesn't suggest the dog beach. I know that that's where the courtship started. But I was so happy when she changed it to the beautiful grassy area. I suppose after 57 wonderful years of marriage to my beautiful wife, Jean, I should have some marital advice for the newlyweds. Well, Brian, I just want to give you a couple tips. First of all, in the future, the best way to remember your wife, your wedding anniversary, is to just forget it once. And that also works pretty good for her birthday. Now let's see, you've got a beautiful new wife, and she comes with a dog and 2 cats. And you already have 2 dogs, so that makes a total of 3 dogs and 2 cats all under one roof. You may need an animal referee, or perhaps you can call Animal Rescue and ask them if they'll come rescue you. Well, Kathy and Brian don't really need any marital advice from me. Jean and I think that Kathy has met the perfect match to share her life with. Jean and I are only too happy to call Brian our son-in-law. He's more than we could ever expect in the son-in-law. And now it gives me great pleasure to propose a toast to the happy couple. So would everybody please raise your glasses. Kathy and Brian, may you always have a happy, peaceful, loving relationship and the fulfillment of all your hopes and dreams, because we all love you very much. Cheers.
Thanks, Dad. Good job there. about a year ago, I was approached by my sister and asked what I thought about having Father Phil do the wedding. And I think, as we can see, Father Phil definitely delivers. In his eulogy, he talked about giving 110%. And Kathy and Brian, I just know through the years, if you ever need to turn to anybody, Father Phil is the go-to guy. I've seen him rescue a lot of relationships and marriages, help a lot of kids through their path throughout their life, and it's always a good way to go. So thanks again, Father Phil. One other thing is Jeff, Brian's dad. During that ceremony, I was like, I kind of felt like Mel Gibson there in Braveheart. I mean, I know he's English, but he just, for some reason, I just wanted to think I could take him on for some reason or for a minute, but I knew he'd probably knock me down. So I backed off on that one. So real quick here, we all know my sister's love for cats. I can't let this one go. So about 6 months ago, she came to my house and she started cleaning some stuff out of my house because she came in and visited me a lot with my children and helped out. And I said, Kath, when are you going to get rid of some of the cat stuff around the house? And it's time to move on, right? So I managed to keep one little item that I think we'll all appreciate here. This is what actually Brian was looking at before she met Kathy, if they were stayed. And this is my beautiful daughter, Caitlin, as all know. And I know I said about 6 months ago I was putting it in Goodwill. Remember how it's going to Goodwill, it's going to Goodwill, don't worry about it. She kept asking me what I did with it. I said I gave it to Goodwill. But I kept it actually in the refrigerator in the back, so no one to take it. So there you go. And so moving on to post-marriage, this was pre-marriage. Post-marriage, I got the best I could do. I tried to get the wedding coordinator to do this for me, but she refused, understandably. So CJ, if I can have you come out. This is post-marriage. We're still going with the cat stuff. We're still going with the cat stuff. Hold up. So we still got the cat stuff going on. But just a little more updated, a little more what we need, right? So, anyhow, thanks to my kids. I had to give them money to do this. So, but thanks for cooperating and best of luck.
I have to come up and say a few words because I have two wonderful daughters. This wonderful son came late in our life, but by gosh, he's no longer a latecomer, is he? He is absolutely wonderful. 3 wonderful children, and now he has been associated with a family which is, to me, remarkable. This wonderful family of Kathy. So God bless and shine upon us. Keep going. I'm 93 years of age, so I have to say, how much longer can I look at this wonderful creation? So God bless and all the best in the world. Bye-bye. I knew he wanted to fly from the day he was born because I flew through the Second World War with the Royal Air Force. And he didn't want to fly initially at high school, but finally we got him into private pilots, instrument rating, American Air Force, flying fast jets, now Delta Airlines. And the beauty of that is, when I go to England every year to march in London on Armistice Day, Sunday, with the Queen there, I march with my Royal Air Force group. This guy provides the money because he puts me on standby. So I get on the airplane with lovely Becky, we get first class all the way over and all the way back. And all we do is pay the tax. So there you are. So it's a benefit.
Hey, thanks, Dad. We love you. Hey, thank you guys. Such great, Jim. Thank you. You covered. There's so many people to run a great party like this and a great event. Jim, you covered everybody. We really appreciate that. And Jimmy, thank you. That was amazing. That was amazing. We want to say a couple of thank yous, and then we're going to let you get to the party here. But we want to start with Gene and Jim Kalika, two of the most amazing people you'll ever meet. I mean, loving, generous, and hosting the event here today. We really appreciate you, and it's just, you've already heard 57 years, but the family that they have is amazing. I mean, they've just got an amazing family from top to bottom, with Jim and Gene in the head of the family. And I also want to thank my family with my dad you just met, 93 amazing years, almost. And Jackie, everybody in my family, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We know it takes a lot of sacrifice to come out here, too. A lot of people, we have people that basically coast to coast, flyers here. We appreciate that more than you can imagine. I mean, we really appreciate you being here. It's an amazing feeling to look back after the ceremony and see just about everybody you care about in one spot. And where else can that happen but a wedding like this? So thank you all so much for being here. We're so blessed to have people like you in our lives, and we'll never forget it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.